Are you ready to navigate the new way to work? Forbes Books presents Dare to Care in the Workplace with Kathleen Quinn Botaw. Here's Kathleen.
I'm back with my friend Gary Cooper, the author of The Success Paradox and co-founder of Palmetto Infusion Services. Now, Gary, you've shared so many of your trials and tribulations on this podcast and in your great book, but you've been very open about the fact that you wouldn't have survived professionally and personally without the people around you. I know that you credit your CEO, David Goodall, for the success of Palmetto Infusion Services. Can you talk about these people that helped you along the way?
Ideas are easy for entrepreneurs like me. I don't execute them. We operate on a system similar to EOS.
Yes.
And I'm the visionary, and Dave is the implementer.
Yes.
But now he's become a little bit of both, to be quite candid. He has evolved, and he has become an amazing CEO. So David has created a community. I'll give you one example, a quick one. We had a town hall meeting, 500 people dial in on Zoom, and he never once mentioned revenue, expenses, how many infusions we did. He gave a 30-minute session on mindfulness. We were going through all this crazy stuff with Corona and all the stuff that was going on. And he said, I want this to be a safe place for you all to come to work. I just got to give that credit to David.
Well, and I appreciate that. I met him in the second session that I came to South Carolina for. Lovely guy, really lovely guy. You empowered him to put people first. That's really, truly the difference.
That's the one thing I did right. And that took a lot of work for me to let go, but he made it easy because he was the right guy for the job.
Which goes back to selection. You have to select the right people based on their character, then help them develop those skills, and then you have to get the heck out of the way.
That's the hard part for like me.
Yeah, you got to get the heck out of the way and let them do the job you entrusted them to do, and only interfere when you think it's not going in the right direction, because you're still there, but it's trust. It's establishing a community based on trust in one another. That's what really faith is, trusting something beyond you in the most simplest sense.
I can tell you the hard part on letting go for entrepreneurs, at least from my point of view, is ego. And what I learned through some soul searching and with Sharon Radacchio, our coach, I needed to be needed. Old Gary would think that sounds like a sissy. But I've been taught by people smarter than me that being vulnerable is a strength.
Yes, it's a superpower, I believe.
It's a superpower. And so, gosh, I can't believe that I'm saying these words, but now I'm willing to be vulnerable for the team.
Yeah.
And say, look, I don't know why I'm so sensitive, but I feel like I need to be needed. And where can I do that? And what I went back to was I created a mission, vision, and values for myself personally. And a 1 year, 3 year, 7-year plan for myself. And Sharon said, Gary, Palmetto is only one part of your identity. Go back to the other parts of your identity. You've drawn out yourself. Find places there to be needed. And so that went back to my faith, and that filled my ego enough to let go. So if any entrepreneur is struggling with letting go or they don't have to be an entrepreneur, they can be a manager that has a big department and they're struggling letting go of the controller position because they were the controller and moved to the CFO. Another place to be needed, and allow that controller to make mistakes.
We're in a big shift because there's a couple generations of people who were always trained to stay in command and control. I'm the leader and you do what I tell you to do. And we, a whole bunch of people who are still running companies, whether they're chairmans, presidents, directors, managers, VPs. Hey, I'm in charge. Mm-hmm. The buck stops here. All those phrases where I'm working and the work you're doing through Success Paradox and my 2 books, we're trying to shift that around to the employee's experience with the company is really the power play. Mm-hmm. And so many people have to unlearn what they were taught. Those perceptions in our head of what we're supposed to be and leaving our personal life at the door, it's so dangerous. I feel it's dangerous because we do have to understand the human being we're working with.
Kathleen, you're so right. And I think what we miss out on when we're stuck in this old way of doing business, we're missing out on one word that is so powerful, literally so powerful, and it's leverage. Yeah. What I missed out on all those years, why I kept selling businesses prematurely, or if I was running a department, why I wouldn't be more successful and get promotions, is leverage. We hire really smart people. We really need to leverage so we can be more successful. And successful may mean I get home at time to spend more time with my family, because I didn't. I missed out on leverage for so long. And now it's almost like I found a third number on a combination lock, and it just opened up, and the whole world opened up, and it's like, oh my gosh, I just have to ask people to do what we actually hired them for.
I just have to do that. Isn't that wild?
Why didn't you ask me that to begin with? And I was like, because I was too scared to look like I didn't know the answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it goes back to that vulnerability, authenticity, and leading with love, I really believe. And you talk also in the book about this relaxed productivity, and you kind of hit on it a little bit, like we squeeze efficiency out of people and technology and whatnot. And tell us more about this relaxed productivity, because I think it's a really important point.
If that's something that I could be known for, would be that.
Well, there you go. Tell us about it.
How many of us were taught that if you are busy, you're lazy?
Right. Even look busy.
Right. So I grew up, my dad would wake up before we woke up. He would go on. He would come home and wake me up at like 5 years old to watch Johnny Carson while he ate dinner. That's the work ethic that I knew. That's how that man worked his entire life. That's what I knew. So monkey see, monkey do.
Exactly.
So then I'm at that same preacher's office, and I'm wearing like pajama pants and a T-shirt. I'm like just busted, right? And he said, Gary, if you want to be productive, you have to rest, man. And there's another guy beside me. And I'm like, I looked at my friend, I said, he only works on Sundays. He said, what do you do? I said, dude, I grind, man. I pull all-nighters. I've been doing that crap since college, man. You grind, you work, you drink caffeine, you drink alcohol, you do whatever it takes. You just make it happen, man. He looked at me like, just like disgust. And he was like, how's that working out for you? And I'd had 2 hip replacements, back surgery. I needed another hip replacement. I'd almost drank myself to death. And my face was like swollen, like this big. I was in really bad shape.
Yeah.
And I was like, not too good, Don. It's not working out too good for me right now. And he showed me this pendulum. And he said, the law of gravity works if you only rest this much, like maybe 30% rest, you can only work 30%. So I took him up on it. I actually started taking naps during the day. I went in my office and there was like 30 unfinished projects. And what I realized, in order to rest, I actually had to start learning to say no. How many projects have you gotten into that had nothing to do with your business? It could be outside of work. Yes, I'll do the PTA for school. Yes, I'll do the thing for soccer. Yes, I'll do this for church. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do that. I was doing that. Yes, I'll be the political fundraiser for the governor. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I'll invest in hotels. Yes, I'll invest in golf courses. Yes, I'll invest in these things, and I was saying yes to everything. But every time I was saying yes to that, I was saying no to Palmetto. I was saying no to my kids. I was saying no to my marriage. So what I had to start doing is saying no to those distractions. And then a guy told me, he said, Gary, a simple magnifying glass can take the sun and catch wood on fire. He said it requires focus. So I combined that in my head with rest. I started resting, but it also required me to say no to things, some things that I really wanted to do, some things that maybe I should have done, but it interfered with the things that were really important to me. And it went back to that mission, vision, and values and that 1 year, 3 year, 7 year plan that I wrote for personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And if it interfered with me being a great father, if it interfered with me being the chairman of Palmetto, if it interfered with the things I had on my list, I said no to it.
That is strength of character right there. And having that focus, that strategy for living your best life. We don't have the gift of tomorrow. We only have today. We don't know what's going to happen. And I love what you and Will, your co-author here, have done with the Open Mind Fitness Foundation.
Uh-huh.
People's health, their mental health, and I do believe their heart health too, is in crisis. I mean, almost 50%, Korn Ferry did a study recently that 50% of working Americans, you report mental health of some sort. Mm-hmm. And I love that you've done this. Tell us more about mental fitness you're trying to help achieve and the Open Mind Fitness Foundation.
So we called it mental fitness instead of mental health because I never thought about why I brush my teeth every day. I just brush my teeth. I was told I need to brush my teeth. Never thought about why I should do something for my mental health until it became a crisis. But I guarantee you, I thought every day about getting up in the morning and doing something about making money, something about building my career, something about being successful. But I never thought about doing something for my spirituality and building character and how that would benefit me in my career, in my marriage, and my health. When Jack committed suicide, and then 10 other kids, that became one of my 1 year, 3 year, and 7 year goals. I had no idea what that was going to become. Knew I wanted to do something. So the book was the first thing. We're donating all the proceeds of the book to the Mental Health Fitness Foundation.
Excellent.
And our goal is to hire a star like Demi Lovato or LeBron James or Rory McIlroy or somebody like that. You say, you're already good enough just the way God made you. And I love Fareed Zakari. He said he's not a big regulation guy for laws, for business. Every now and then, we have to deregulate businesses like Rockefellers and Vanderbilts and all those guys. We're kind of at that point now where business has gone so fast that the laws can't catch up.
Right.
The mental health, the Open Mind Fitness Foundation isn't about changing laws. We have no control over that. Our role is to say, if you do a couple things every day, and if you don't compare yourself to social media, your life will get better. Here's the way we describe it, Kathleen. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, my granddad would smoke cigarettes with the windows rolled up, and we didn't have seatbelts on in the car.
Yeah, rolling around the station wagon. Absolutely.
That's kind of a good visual that most people our age can remember.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying is, look, before you go on social media, because if I told my kids not to go on social media, they would go directly to social media. So what we're saying is, hey, dude, before you go on, put your seatbelt on.
Yeah.
They mean, hey, set a 30-minute timer. So we want a place where a star can write a book to tell kids that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's great, and I think more people need to share their stories, which you've done in the Success Paradox. Is you've opened yourself up to vulnerability, and I believe in strong mental health. I've been in therapy twice in my life, once to overcome loss of miscarriages.
Mhm.
And then earlier in my 20s, I was just an angry girl. Knowing me now, you wouldn't say angry, but I was just, I don't know what was going on. And so having the courage to confront your own demons, right? The things that are holding you back and you can't make sense of. There's so much help out there for people. And more of us have to share that we're not perfect and stop putting us on the pedestal. All we're trying to do is lead a lovely life. That's really the core of it. Lead a life of purpose. Somebody once said to me, well, I just heard this from a wonderful guy, the chairman of High Point University, Dr. Nido. He said, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for excellence and discipline. Perfection is unattainable.
That's a great way to put it. I like the word progress. If we can just make progress every day. Another gentleman that helped me, he said, Gary, you have a comparison problem. And I said, what? I thought I just drank too much.
Well,
He said,
maybe a little bit of that too.
he said, and I'm not even Irish.
Other people drink other than us Irish people, dear.
He said, you have a comparison problem. I said, I was so willing to do anything to feel better
Yeah.
and to not hurt other people. He said, why don't you compare yourself to yourself? So willing and so open-minded. And I said, what does it look like? Like, just help me, like, on a daily basis, what do I do? And he said, are you better today than you were yesterday? And I said, well, I haven't hurt anybody today. Well, that's a start.
That is a start.
And he said, tomorrow, just beat Gary from yesterday.
Yeah.
And he said, if you do that the rest of your life, son, you're going to surprise the world. And I think that's the message to our kids. Just beat Kathleen from yesterday.
Yeah.
And who gives a shit about the rest of the world? And so I wish I could have told young Gary that, at 24 when I first got into my career. Don't worry about the competitors. And there's a real big lesson in that for our businesses. I don't know about you, but we can get really caught up in what the other infusion companies are doing.
Sure.
And I literally just got off a phone or off a Zoom call and said, who cares what the other ones are doing? I was watching a podcast of the former chief sales and marketing officer of Chick-fil-A, one of the most admired companies now in the country.
Absolutely.
And he said, we don't want to look or smell like any other fast food company in the country. And they don't.
And they don't.
And so that's the same kind of thing. Don't compare yourself to others. If we can put that in our business too.
Mm-hmm. I
I get so sick of accepting invites on LinkedIn because the next thing is, can I help you recruit? Like, really? I'm not gonna.
Don't talk to any of those people, Gary. Don't.
Thanks for buying me a drink first before you ask me. I mean, my God.
Oh, God. Well, we're heading up against time, and this has been so enjoyable. I think there's another conversation we're going to have at some point. So please tell the people listening how they can find you if they want to learn more about the Success Paradox.
So, look, please go on Amazon and buy the book, Success Paradox. All the money goes to our foundation. And you can also find me on GaryCCooper.com. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to go to Kathleen and look for her book also.
You're wonderful, Gary. Thanks for joining me today.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Gary. And that will do for another episode of Dare to Care in the Workplace. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, make sure you take a second to subscribe so you automatically get my new shows when they drop. Also, if you have a minute, I'd love if you could leave a review on Apple or Spotify so more folks like yourself can discover the show. Until we meet again.
This has been Dare to Care in the Workplace. To connect with Kathleen, go to KathleenQuinnBotaw.com. Kathleen's book, Dare to Care, is available wherever books are sold. Dare to Care in the Workplace is a production of Forbes Books.